This section is all about editing and fine editing your clips in the timeline. I personally think this is where Resolve excels. I like it very much. It allows so much fine editing. You will learn several techniques here. You will start with the basic trim in the selection mode, how to edit clips within the timeline in the source monitor, which is going to make editing very interactive. Among others, I will show you how to trim to start, trim to end, resize and ripple. How to perform an extend edit, I'm sure you will like this one. And how to perform precision trimming a frame at a time. Also, you will see how to use the slip and slide. In DaVinci Resolve, you have the GKL keys with the trim mode and the dynamic mode together. You will perform some very nice lift and extract very dynamically. In short, it's all about fine editing your clips in the timeline, and I will show you several methods. In this section, completing your assignment is very important to achieving even more in Resolve, so I hope you will complete it. If you are new to video editing, guys, then this lecture is very important for you to understand the concept of handers. Handers will allow you to add smooth transitions, to trim your clip, to be very precise on which frame you want to start and which frame you want to end. You have this clip over here we put in the timeline. I deleted a few clips just to show you these examples. And you notice that it has an in and out point. And we used only the footage between the in and out points. You know that very well already. The unused frames on the left and the unused frames on the right are called handers. They are free frames that are used to put transitions, for example, to trim at a very precise frame, and many other things where you need handers. Let's take the clip in the timeline and I will show you the handers. I press Alt. If you are on the Mac, of course, press Option. Scroll the mouse to just zoom in. Okay? If you come to the border just over here, you notice the mouse pointer will change a bit. If you click on it, you see it's green. It means this clip has handers on the left. If you go to the right and you click, you select the side, you notice it's green. It means this clip has handles on the right. Now, if you just click and keep it pressed, you notice the white border rectangle that's appearing. These represent the available handles. And now you know that you can come on the right, for example, and take more frames from the clip, and even come on the right and take more frames. So this is the representation of the handles. Let me give you a counter example here. I fixed the clip so it doesn't have any handles. Okay, it's this one. If you point on the left and click, you will see it's green. It means it has handles on the left. But if you point on the right and click, you notice it's red. It means this clip doesn't have any handles on the right. You can even see that if you click and keep it clicked, you notice you have a lot of handles on the left and nothing on the right. You notice there are no white rectangles on the right. So now you cannot really take it further, but you can stretch it in and create more handles if need be. So the handles are all the unused frames on the left and right, and they are very necessary mainly to create transitions and to do the right trimming. As we said previously, our aim in this section is to learn how to resize our clips. So we want to decide which frame they're gonna start and which frame they're gonna end, to have very nice cuts in between the clips, so you can make, a very impressive video. We are going to focus on the trim menu over here. Unfortunately, what you see here is just simple commands. They are very useful if you come and explore them a bit. But the main work actually is not on this menu. Of course, we are going to cover these commands and other commands that are not in this menu. But mainly we are going to cover certain techniques, meaning the how-to. And we are going to use the keyboard a lot. So actually, this is a simplistic menu, I would say here. Also, we are going to look in the timeline and we have 3 commands here that we are going to explore a bit. Now, the concept of DaVinci Resolve is there are no resizing or trimming tools. Okay, that doesn't come as a surprise because actually you don't see them. You have modes. You have the selection mode, and that's what we have been using all along. You have the trim mode, and in addition to the trim mode and the selection mode, you can add the dynamic trim mode. So dynamic trim mode doesn't work on its own. It's just an addition to the trim mode or to the selection mode. And if you right click on the dynamic trim mode, here you are, you have the snip mode or the slide mode. You can switch using the S key. Here you are. This is now slide, press S, I go to snip. Okay, they have their own functions. So how do you edit? First, you decide on which mode you want to use. You can have the selection mode, the trim mode, or you can add also the dynamic mode if you like to, and then use the mouse or keyboard shortcuts and command keys. You will be able to do very powerful and precise video and audio editing. We're going to start using the selection mode. It's a bit naive mode to use, but sometimes it has its own commands and they are very useful. So in the next lecture, we are going to use the selection mode and start resizing certain clips. In this lecture, guys, I want to show you how to trim or resize a clip while being in the selection mode and the challenges, of course, you will face. So we have here a clip, okay, a simple clip that we want to adjust the in point. Okay, the input is not cool at all, and we want to adjust the out point. Here you are, the out point is not really very nice. Okay, so we are going to trim this clip to get a very good in point and out point. Let's arrange a bit our workspace here. Of course, I don't need the media pool anymore. I have all my clips, and I really don't want to see the source monitor here. So I will switch to one monitor. You can resize it according to the size of your monitor to get the best view over here. Now, since I want to work on this clip, it will be nice to zoom in. I will use Control plus. You can use Command plus if you are on the Mac. Here you are. So now I can clearly see the in and out point of the clip. First of all, I want to talk about the selection method. If you come to the beginning of the clip, on the right side of its in point, you notice how the mouse pointer will change. It is the trim tool now in selection mode. And then if you click, you're selecting the in point of the clip. If you go on the left and on the right of the incoming clip, here you are just here, you will select the out point of the incoming clip or the previous clip. If you come in the middle here, you notice like double brackets with arrows. If you click, you will be selecting the in and out points. And there are some edits that you do like this with the selection mode, and they are very powerful. So now, if you just click and then use the U key, you press U, you will toggle the selection point. You notice how? Left, both, and right. This one, you can see it inside Edit Point Type. This is U. Cool. So let's select on the inside here. And I will click and drag to the right to trim the clips I don't want. For example, from here, maybe up to here. Okay, I don't know. Something like this. Let him jump in the air. Okay, something like this. So I don't want this portion at all. This is one way to trim. There are so many other ways to trim, and I'm going to show them all to you, and it's up to you to decide this is my style and start working like this. So I'll click on the in point just near it and start dragging to the right. Notice what's appearing in the monitor. It's showing you the in point, the first frame of this clip, meaning this is the first frame you are going to see. So you can decide exactly where you want it. Here you are, just over here. Okay, not cool. I'm going to move it. You see, it's not very precise. So I'm just going to drop it there and come back and adjust it. Let's do for also the out point. I will click and drag and decide where the out point should be. For example, okay, this guy falls. Do you want to show this fall? Let's put him just over here. Okay, for now. Let's go back to the in point here. I really do need to do some adjustment. So there are some very important shortcut keys here. It is the comma and the period. Let's move the playhead to the in point. Here you are. And then if you use the period, you will notice you will be trimming one frame at a time to the right. So you are resizing to make it smaller. Here you are. If you use the comma, you notice that you are resizing to make it bigger. If you add the shift for the period or the comma, you will be going 5 frames at a time. Okay, or even more. There is a setting. I will show you that later on. So here I'm going to use the comma to decide, okay, this is the first frame I want. Actually, this looks good. I'm going to move the playhead to the end of the clip. I will use the down arrow for now, and then go back 1 frame with the left arrow. And then I'm going to use the period and comma to adjust it exactly the way I like. 1 frame at a time using the keyboard, and you're doing a great job. We are going to do this very many times. Let's decide this guy. just okay over here. What do you think? But now I have a slight problem. On the left, I have a gap, which is easy to delete. It's pretty defined gap. But on the right, I have a complex gap, and I need to remove it. And I already showed you how to remove this gap in a tip in the previous section. Let's zoom in, Shift Z to fit. I'll select this gap and press backspace to remove it. Now notice, I rippled video 2 and video 1. This is because I have the auto select on both of them. Now, I have the gap over here. Now remember, this is a crossed gap, and I need to delete what's between the out point and the in point of the consecutive clips. So one way to do it, an easy way to do it, is the Alt-Y. Okay, so you will select all the clips on the right of the playhead. Here you are, we did that. And then you click and drag and just snap it. Make sure you have the snapping on. That's one way to do it, but sometimes I'm very scared to use this way. Maybe I don't ripple everything. What I like to do is to do the in and out point method that you have seen before. This is the out point, and this is the in point. So I had well defined. I would deselect everything, shift backspace, and here you are, you have done it. So now you notice, guys, that with the selection mode, trimming is nice, it's cool, but it's not so practical. There is a better way using the trim mode, and that's what I will show you in the next lecture. In the previous lecture, we used the selection mode to trim this clip from its in and out point, and we had some gaps that we have to delete and remove and stories like this. In this lecture, I'm going to take you through the edit mode in concept, in principle, and show you how to trim. We are going to do a lot of work in the trim mode. Something I want to bring to your attention. When you are in the selection mode, notice the mouse pointer. It's just a mouse pointer. When you bring it towards the edit points, it changes into some kind of a trim tool if it is on the right over here or on the left. And you can practically do simple selections just like this. You are selecting all the clips. Let's select the trim mode. Now, first of all, you notice the mouse pointer has totally changed. And if you do a lasso selection, you are really not selecting the clips. You are selecting the edit points within the lasso you created. Now that is very powerful. If you come to an edit point, you are now in the trim tool, but notice the kind of bar with 2 dots around. This means you are in the ripple edit or ripple trimming if you like. I will show you how it works. If you come on the upper side of the video, you notice the mouse pointer, you are now in the slide mode. If you come down on the lower part here, you are in the slip mode. I will explain all this to you in detail. So the edit mode somehow is more powerful. Now let's start trimming this clip. Okay, same case here. We have somewhere it starts and somewhere it ends. I don't know what. Let's change the in and out point so we have a very nice cut. I will come near the in point here. I will click and drag to the right. Okay, now notice what's happening in the monitor. First of all, on the left, you are seeing the last frame of the previous clip. Pretty powerful, so you can adjust your cut the way you like. On the right, this is your trimming point or the edit point where you are trimming. You can see where is it. So really, you can decide how this cut is gonna be. Okay, mind you, you can go back and refine it with the comma and period later on. If you use the right side, okay, and you are in the edit mode, don't be in a hurry to click. Just make sure you are in the trim mode. You click and you start dragging towards the left. On the right side now, you have the first frame of the next clip. Pretty powerful, you know how your cut is coming. On the left side, you have the edit point of the clip you are editing here or you are trimming. Now, something else. I would like you to look at video 1 and video 2 tracks. Notice how they are being rippled according to the trimming. If I move it right or left, the tracks on V1 and V2, because they are selected, they are being rippled. So there is no gap to delete later on, and you're doing a perfect ripple edit. So now let's decide where we want to drop this one. Okay, we don't want to see his feet. Okay, maybe over here. Now let's go to the edit point, this edit point, and select it. We select the edit point and use the period and the comma to refine our edit. Here you are. I'm using now the period, so I'm trimming towards the right. I'm shortening the clip. Okay, I think I want to start from here. Cool, I like that. Now, I'm gonna take it just over here. Okay, click here and use the comma or period. Notice I change views. okay, maybe this frame. So really it's extremely precise and no gaps to delete, and you're on. You did your trimming, and it's a ripple trimming or ripple edit, and your timeline now is pretty correct, provided that, guys, you have done the right selection. This is an introduction, I would say, of the edit mode. There are so many other edits you can do with the edit mode. My advice to you is stick to the trim edit mode. Just select it and start trimming. Forget about trimming in the selection mode. That's my point of view. You might find even a better way. Yet, I will show you even more powerful editing methods for trimming in the next few lectures. In the previous 2 lectures, guys, you'll learn how to trim a clip from the in and out point, be it in the selection mode or the trim mode. Now, imagine that you don't know very well the clip and you're trying to find out what's beyond the in point and what's beyond the out point on the left and right, of course. Well, if you use the trim mode, there will be a lot of scrubbing left and right to be able to determine the content of the clip. Well, there is a better way. Is to edit your clip inside the source monitor. First of all, let's go to two monitors view, and I have nothing in the source monitor. I want to bring up this clip inside the media pool. So I will right click and go find in media pool. If I double click the clip in the media pool, it will open, and of course I can see the name of the clip over here, .mp4. If you go to the list view, it's the exact name here. If I edit this clip, I change the in point and the out point, you notice there is nothing happening in the timeline. This is because the clip in the media pool is totally different from the clip in the timeline, logically different. Well, you can imagine this. This clip could be like 2 minutes long, and you take several pieces of it using the in and out point and then dropping them in the timeline. Then you have several instances of the same clip from the media pool inside the timeline. And logically, whatever is inside the timeline is not like the one inside the media pool. So you need to edit the clip from the timeline inside the source monitor. The way to do that is to double click. Here you are. Now, how do you know you're editing the one in the timeline and not in the source monitor? Well, look at the name. Scroll down the name here. And you will notice the top one, the one we are viewing now, has the first movie at the end. First movie being the name of the timeline. So actually you are editing this clip, .mp4, in the timeline. The previous one was just this clip from the media pool. Let's select it, and we know now we are editing the one in the timeline. Let's select the one in the timeline also, and let's start changing the in and out points. Remember, we are in selection mode. If I change the in point, you notice what's happening in the timeline. We are also changing the in point in the timeline. We are editing this inside the source monitor. Cool. We can change the out point. But now all these gaps are starting to appear in the selection mode, and we have to go back and, edit these gaps and delete them. Let's undo all this. So we are back to the old in and out points, and we go for the trim mode. Now look how nice it is. If you select the in point and go to the right, you notice what's happening in the timeline. It's also ripple editing, which is so convenient and it's very precise. You notice, guys? So I'm gonna set the in point just over here. That would be cool. I can play from in and out point here. That will be Alt or Option on the Mac and forward slash. Pretty cool. Let's put the looping on and see exactly what we're doing. Not bad. Now, I would like to set the out point. I'm going to use the playhead of the source monitor and say, okay, set it over here. I can use left and right arrow. You remember that. Okay, just over here. And I press O. Notice in the timeline, it's ripple editing on all the selected tracks. And this is very convenient now. You just bring it in the source monitor and start editing. When do I personally use this method? When I'm lazy, or when I've forgotten what's inside the clip. And I need okay, where is this? I want this scene or the other scene or stories like this. Now notice here, you cannot click and drag and drop, okay? That will not be possible. You're not using a clip from the media pool. You are editing this clip in the timeline. So the method I showed you now is about editing a clip from the timeline inside the source monitor. Just double click on it and change the in and out points the way you like. And if you are in the trim mode, it will ripple on all the selected tracks. Before we start the core of this lecture, I want to show you two shortcuts that are very important. Remember the up and down arrows, okay? They will take you to the first frame of the next clip and to the first frame of the previous clip. But now we need to go to the last frame of a clip and to the first frame of the same clip. So you position your playhead on top of this clip. If you press apostrophe, you will go to its last frame. Pretty convenient, guys, and different from the up arrow. If you press semicolon, you will go to the first frame of this same clip where the playhead was positioned. So semicolon first, apostrophe last frame of the clip where the playhead was positioned. Now, how is this useful? Let me show you. Now, I want to see the last frame of this clip in the source monitor. How do I do that? Well, pretty easy. I press apostrophe. I am at the last frame of this clip, which can be seen in the monitor for the timeline. Now, if I double click, here you are at the out point, and it's pretty cool. Now, from here, if I use semicolon, I will go to the first frame, and if I double click, I have the first frame here is the in point. Of course, as soon as you have it in the source monitor, you can use Shift O for the last frame and Shift I for the first frame. Let's go to the last frame. I'm gonna keep it here. Now, you notice here the two clips are consecutive and they are somehow the same jump. Not the same video, not the same camera even, you can notice from the colors. But they are the same jump. So I want to link this jump to this jump. So obviously I want to simulate like the guy is over here, flipping, and it's this position. It's gonna be cool, you go from normal speed to slow motion. But now what I would like to do is to cut from the playhead to the beginning of this clip. Let's go to the menu and we go to trim. You have here trim start, trim end, and you have the ripple start to playhead and end to playhead. Notice the shortcut, Control Shift left bracket. On the Mac it will be Command Shift left bracket. And then notice the shortcut here is Shift left bracket. Depending on which mode you are in, they behave a bit differently. Let's test them. Let's start with the trim start. I am here in the selection mode, right guys? If I use Shift left bracket, it's gonna cut from the playhead to the beginning of the clip, but it's gonna just cut, it's just a lift. I am in the selection mode. But really here we want to do a ripple delete. We want to cut and remove, or if you like, an extract. So the shortcut to use, if you come to the trim here, is the ripple, is start to playhead, Control Shift left bracket. Let's try it. Control Shift left bracket. Here you are. You deleted from the playhead to the start of the clip and you did a ripple, and all the tracks have rippled to the right. Of course, depending on your selection. That's pretty cool. Let's go now to the end. Where do we want this guy to stop? In fact, let's stop him just over here. Okay? No, even before. So I'm going to use the left right arrow. I want to cut from the playhead till the end. I am in the selection mode. So if you look at the trim here, you're going to just lift. If you use the ripple, it's going to ripple delete. Okay, let's do it. I will use the shift first to show you. Here you are. It did a lift and you have the gap. You might want to delete the gap and do other things. If I do Control Shift and right bracket, notice it has ripple deleted. It did the lift and the ripple, which is an extract here. Now you notice using the selection mode now, you have the option to just lift or ripple delete. Let's go to the trim mode and I will undo both of them. Now in the trim mode, whatever you use is going to ripple. The trim mode is all about rippling. So if I use the command Shift left bracket is enough, it will ripple. Even if I use Control Shift left bracket, it will ripple. And then you come to where you want it to end. Let's say just over here. And then use Shift right bracket and you ripple again. So this is the technique, using the selection mode or the trim mode to be able to cut from playhead to start or end of a clip. Please keep it in mind, the shortcut is Shift left and right bracket or Command Shift left and right bracket depending on the mode you are using. I actually use these commands a lot. They are my favorite. Another interesting and powerful editing technique is the extend edit. If you come to the trim over here, you have extend edit, and the shortcut is simply E. Now, this is something you really want to get used to and is very useful. The extend edit will trim from the in point and the out point or the edit point of two clips, but you need to select them. For example, if I place the playhead just over here, okay, we don't care much, and I want to trim this clip from the in point to the playhead, I am now in the selection mode. I will just select the in point and press E. Here you are, as simple as this. So it has lifted from the in point to the playhead. Now, if I want to trim from the out point to the playhead, for example, just over here, something like this, I press E. Here you are, it has lifted. I will undo both of them. Now let's select the edit point for the incoming and outgoing clips. If you press E, notice what's going to happen. It's going to trim the first clip on the out point and extend the next clip on its in point. You notice what's happening. So this one is being trimmed and this one is being extended. I'll select in between, press E, here you are. That's pretty cool, and sometimes you really need it. For example, you have a video here, it's just about, sunset or mountain, and you wanted to trim the previous clip but keep the same timing. You need this timing, for example. Okay, I will undo this. Now there is another function for the extend edit. For example, let's trim this one just like this randomly. Come over here. If you would like to extend this clip from its in point to the playhead, you select the in point like I have done here and press E. You notice you have extended. Now, not only here, maybe just over here and press E, it will extend. Provided that you have enough handles, of course. Here we have handles, so it's okay. It has extended. I will undo these two. Of course, you can do the same, for example, on this clip and extend it if it has the handles. I will undo. Now, when you are in trim mode, you know it already, it's gonna ripple. Okay, so let's say we stop over here and then we select the in point and we press E. It will ripple and bring in all the clips to the right. Now we can move on, okay, and adjust it very well here. So just over here, select the out point and press E. Here you are, it has rippled. Now let me show you another application for the extend edit. I will go to timeline 2. And here I added this graphic clips title 1, 2, 3, but just to show you. Let's say you come over here and you say you want all these graphics to be extended to the playhead. You can select your selection tool. Then you select the out point of the first clip, press Ctrl or Command on the Mac, select the out point of the second clip and the third clip. Of course, you kept Ctrl or Command pressed all the time. If you press E, you will notice it will align the out point. Very useful, mainly in this case, it's very useful. Now let's say you want to use the trim mode. I will deselect everything. In the trim mode, you don't need to go one by one, of course. You'll just select the three of them here. You selected the out point of the clip and the in point of the gap. Doesn't matter. You just press E and notice it has also rippled. Okay, so this is about the extended edit, and if you notice, it's pretty useful. I encourage you now, don't go further in the course before doing some practice. I already gave you several techniques and they are all intense and very useful. So please guys, pause the video, go do some activities, come over and trim all these clips and something like this, and then go back to the course. In this lecture, guys, I want to start combining the techniques we have learned. Okay, and using the keyboard and even the mouse if you like. I use the mouse a lot, but mainly in video editing, you want to be on the keyboard, is much faster. Nevertheless, what I would like you to do here is to trim this clip according to very precise frames, and also trim this clip and make the in-between, very much syncing together. This guy coming in and this guy jumping out. Fine, let's start. So obviously you want to select the in point. You can use the playhead, you position the playhead, and let's say now you refine it a bit. Let's say we start from here. Press E, it's gonna cut from the in point because it's selected to the playhead. I'm gonna go towards the end and decide where I want to stop it. Okay, it's gonna be somewhere around here. Okay, I will select the out point and press E, and here you are, I did the cut. And let's play around this cut. Okay, so I'll select it, and then I press the /. It's gonna play around the cut. Okay, nothing is interesting here. So we need to now cut this one. Okay, so I will come over just to here, somewhere here, and then I will change with the U key the selection point. Notice now I'm the in point of the second clip. I press E for an extended edit. It's done. Now I need to use the nudging to make it 100% precise. I'm gonna move the playhead so you can see what am I selecting. And I keep on pressing U until I get the out point of the previous clip. Okay, then I'm gonna use the period, for example, and I'm looking in the monitor here and deciding, okay, how is this gonna go? I want the feet to match a 100%. So I'm gonna go forward. Okay, maybe over here. Now I need this one to move a bit forward. So what I will do, I press U again. So I'm selecting the out point. Then I will use the period. Here you are. Well, the feet looks like matching because obviously in this split second he's gonna move his foot a bit more. So I'm cool with that. I can select now the edit point, okay, just over here, and try to play with the comma and the period. I will never miss that. Even if I don't do anything, I want to test. So I'm gonna press period. Notice exactly what's happening. I don't like it very much. This is going backward. If I do that, well, this is the best position possible. From here also it's possible to cut it. But I'm gonna stop just over here. I like it. So actually I adjusted the in point, the out point, and the in point of the next clip, and I have done a precise edit. I will press / and it's gonna play around the edit point here. You know, it's gonna play around the cut. I can see the cut here and estimate the job. I can do it much better. I will stop here, select the in point here, and start nudging. I think the out point should change here. I'm gonna go backward one more, okay, just like this, or maybe we go like this. What do you say, guys? I press U, I get the in point, and press comma or period. Let's select the edit point, okay, and press /, and I'm playing here. Wow, I like this very much. It's much better. It's just a matter of one frame and everything will change. You can go ahead now if you like to. You stop and then you can cut it from over here. I think I leave him in the air, okay? Yeah, that will be more exciting. Select the out point, press E for an extended editing, and here you are. I'm very happy from that. I'll select both clips using the shift key and / to play around both of them. See exactly what's happening. Is my clip okay? Not bad at all. Let's see the cut over here at the end. Okay, very ugly cut. Of course, we're going to work on it. So actually, you know, use the nudging, use the extend edit, and use selecting edit point type, and you came up with very precise editing and very easy to achieve. I hope you will go to Resolve 15 and start working and doing this kind of things. You know, you don't have to wait until the end of the course to do something precise. Just try your hand on it. It's very nice. Actually, it's very rewarding. I love looking at the clips. In this lecture, guys, and in the next 2 lectures, I will explain to you and demonstrate to you how to use the roll, slide, and slip editing techniques. The aim here is for you to get to know them and know how to use them in the selection mode and in the trim edit mode. But what will be very interesting is to start using them in the dynamic mode of DaVinci Resolve. That we will do just after we complete the slide or the slip. So in this lecture, I want to focus on the roll. I'm going to show you how it works. Sometimes it's very easy and very obvious because you know your clips. And sometimes it's very confusing because you really don't have all the clips in your mind. Let's start with the selection mode. If you click on an edit point, okay, you have done this before, you will select the edit point. So you have selected the out point of the incoming clip, the one on the left, and the in point of the outgoing clip on the right. So now you can click in the middle and start dragging left and right. Okay, as soon as I start dragging, notice what I see in the monitor. The one on the left is the out point of the incoming clip. You notice, so now I can decide where I want this clip to end. Okay, for example, just over here. Okay, and then on the one on the right, It is the in point of the outgoing clip. Notice, guys? So if you know the content of your clips, now you can decide where you want to start and end. What is very important about the role? Incoming plus outgoing time on the timeline did not change. You preserved the timing. You're just rolling in between these two clips. Okay, very simple. That's about the selection mode. If you go to the trim mode now, it will do exactly the same if you are selecting one edit point. Okay, so I'll come over here and select this edit point and roll it. On the left, you are seeing the out point of the incoming clip. That's the one now in the middle. And then on the right, you're seeing the in point of the outgoing clip. And you can roll to get the content that you want. But while in the trim mode, something interesting you can do is to create a lasso and select several edit points. You notice here I selected 2. Had more clips, I would have selected even more. Now I can select the edit point and start scrubbing left and right. Now notice what I'm seeing in the monitor. On the left side, I'm seeing the out point of the first clip, the one on the left. And on the right, I'm seeing the in point of the second clip, the one on the right. And if I scrub through, you will notice I can adjust the in and out points and see exactly where I want the content. That's very right. But then if I move furthermore, you notice now the monitor has changed. Because I'm more on the right side, it's showing me now the in and out point of the second edit point. You notice how? Okay, so now I'm seeing the out point of the middle clip and the in point of the last clip, the one on the right. Here you are. Okay, so you can trim here. Now, if you select the second edit point, you are going to have almost the same thing on the monitor here. Now I'm seeing the in and out point of the middle clip and the one on the right. You notice? Okay, if I move it to this side, it's gonna flip and start showing me the in and out of the first edit point, the one that's over here. Now, you notice when you're rolling, if you're using one edit point or 2 edit points, time on the timeline of clip 1 plus clip 2 does not change. Similarly, if you have clip 1 plus clip 2 plus clip 3, their total time on the timeline does not change. Okay, so actually the in point of the first clip and the out point of the last clip remains constant and does not change. So this is about roll. I know it's a bit hard to conceive and to play with, and it's really extremely content sensitive because you're not gonna roll clips just like this. But from time to time, it's extremely useful. Let's cover the slip and slide editing techniques. I'm gonna show you the method to use the mouth and then how to use the keyboard. Actually, with the keyboard is much more interesting. Select your trim edit mode. And if you come over a clip, you hover over a clip, any clip, on the upper part, when you are in the edit trim mode, you will see the mouse is like a fancy shape with 2 arrows and so on. On the lower part, it has another shape. Now, if you click, you have selected the clip, but also notice you have selected the in and out point of this clip. If you start going left or right, you will be slipping the content of the clip. You can think about it like slipping the content in between the in and out point. Okay, guys? So actually, you're changing the content of this clip. In the monitor, you have a 4-up. On the top row, you can see the in and out point of the clip you are slipping. On the lower part, you can see the out point of the incoming clip. That's the one on the left. And you can see the in point of the clip on the right, or the outgoing clip. Okay? That's very cool. Of course, they don't move. So now you're doing a slip. You're changing the content of the clip. And it's very important because sometimes you really want to use it. Now notice the duration of the clip is not changing at all. It's only its content that's changing in between the in and out point. Now, if you come to the lower part and you click, you can drag left and right. Now you are doing a slide. Okay, that's pretty interesting. You're adjusting the in and out points. In the monitor, you have a 4-up. On the top row, still you see the in and point of the clip you are sliding now. Okay? And then on the bottom row, on the left, you will see the out point of the incoming clip, the one that is on the left, and the in point of the outgoing clip, the one on the right. Okay? And then you can adjust your content. Let's use the keyboard. If you come to the trim menu, you will see here toggle slip slide mode, and the shortcut is S. And also we are going to use the nudging here. Now notice what's happening over here. If I press S, it will change from slip to slide and vice versa. Now, this is the slide mode. If you right click, you will see it's slide. If you press S, it's slip mode. Okay, so you can change modes. Let's select this clip and use the nudging. Now it's in the slide mode. If I use the period and the comma, period will take me to the right, so it's sliding on the right, and comma is sliding on the left. Now, if you press S and use the nudging shortcut, the period and comma, then notice now you are nudging to the right or you are nudging to the left. You notice very well that the duration of the clip is not changing in the timeline. Now let's select an extremity clip where you have a gap over here. If you right click, you will see you are in the slide mode. Let's put it in the slip mode first and use the nudging, comma and period. If I go period, notice what's happening here. It is changing the content of the clip, and I have the 4 up showing me the in and out point of the selected clip. That's very easy. And of course, on the lower side, I'm seeing the out point of the incoming clip. That's the clip before. Also, I see black because of the gap over here. Now you can press S and change from slip to slide. If you want to see it, you can wait a second. It's slide now, or right click, it's slide. And if you start sliding here using the nudges, it's nudging the clip to the left and it's nudging it to the right. Of course, you can use shift period, for example, you nudge it to the right, and shift comma, you will nudge it to the left with 5 frames at a time. Cool, guys? So this is pretty interesting and pretty powerful, and this is how you do slip and slide. If you're not a veteran video editor and you're just starting, you most probably haven't used the JKL keys. They are very powerful in DaVinci Resolve 15. In this lecture, I want you just to get used to them, to use them, play around with them. In the next couple of lectures, we are going to use the JKL to do lots of trimming, lots of editing using the dynamic mode. What I would like you to do is to put your fingers on the JKL. Okay, 3 fingers, 1 on J, 1 on K, 1 on L. Let's go to the beginning. Okay, now press L once. So it's a normal speed playing, nothing superb. If you press K, it will stop. If you press J, it will go backward. Nothing fancy, right? Good. Let's press K and stop. Now I would like you to press L once, then another time press L, then more, press L, and then more. And here you are on fast forward. This is the clip I wanted to catch. You press K to stop. Let's go backward now, or fast backward if you like. We go J once, twice, 3 times, and more. Okay, that's where I wanted to stop. Okay, that's cool. So JKL works like this. K will stop, L will go forward, J will go backward. If you press them more than once, you will be doubling the speed until you are on very fast forward. That's cool, but that is better than that. If you come over here, for example, and we want to look at this clip, well, let's use JKL. Put your fingers on JKL. Now hold down K, okay? And then press L once. You notice you are moving 1 frame at a time. With every L, you move 1 frame at a time. Cool. But now press L and keep it down. Here you are. You will notice now you're playing in slow motion. And that is very interesting here, mainly if you're doing ripple editing in the dynamic mode. We'll see that later on. So you'll be able to scrub through your clip and decide, okay, this is where I want to stop. So remove your finger from the L, it stops. Now let's press K and L once to determine the exact frame where you want to start, for example. Okay, so this is cool for me. Yep, here. I will select the in point and go to the trim mode and press E for an extended edit with the trim. Here you are. Now I'm gonna press K again and press the L. Okay, fine. He's jumping down. He's running. I'm cool with that. I'm gonna release L to go frame by frame here. See exactly what's happening. Okay, I like that until now. Maybe I'll go backward, frame by frame or slow motion. Okay, I'm gonna stop it just here. Cool. Let's select now the out point and press E for extended edit. Then it will, of course, ripple. So now exactly what you have done, you have used the JKL to go very slow, slow motion or frame by frame to determine exactly how do you want to cut. Now notice guys, I showed you very many methods, so please come and play with the JKL. Don't worry about how you cut your clips and so on, but it's important that you get used to it. Okay, let's go backward now. Another speed and another speed. Hope you will have a lot of fun with JKL. In the previous lecture, guys, you played with the JKL, and I hope you had a lot of fun and you trained how to use them. Because in this lecture, we are going to get very serious about the JKL and use them with the dynamic trim mode being on. Remember, I mentioned before that the dynamic trim mode is an addition to the selection mode or the trim edit mode. It's very simple. So you select the selection mode or the trim mode, and then you put on the dynamic trim mode. If you come to your trim here, you will notice that you have dynamic trim mode and the shortcut is W. Actually, you could have seen it from here. Okay, dynamic trim mode, slide, that's the option, and the shortcut is W. If you right click here, you remember, you can have slide or slip the way you would like. I will leave it to slide. In fact, there is no difference here. Notice that there is nothing selected. I'm going to press W to switch on the dynamic edit mode. Notice what's going to happen to the playhead and where it's going to jump. So I press W, and immediately the playhead jumped to the out point of the previous clip and selected the out point. That's very important. The choice of selection here has been mysterious a bit to me, but I think it will pick up the last selection you have done or the last position of the playhead. Nevertheless, for now, I'm going to select the in point of this clip where we were. Move the playhead and notice I selected the in point. Let's start playing with the JKL. Notice when I press L, what's going to happen. Okay, immediately the playhead jumped to the first frame and it's already lifting and can dynamically see it what is happening. If I want to stop, I press K, for example. I can press J to go backward. And remember the small motion. Actually, they still work. If I press K now, I'll stop and L will go one frame at a time. And if I keep on pressing L, it will go in slow motion. And I can do very speedily, very exact trimming. In fact, this is the mode I would recommend for you to use, mainly if you don't know the content of the clips. So actually, you're looking at the clip and at the same time, you're trimming it. Now, with the selection mode here, we have done a lift only. Cool. I'm gonna undo, and without even moving the playhead, I'm gonna select the out point. And I will go for a J. Notice it's like dynamic. I can see it. Pretty cool. Okay, I went too far. I'm gonna press K, press L, and let's stop it just over here. Okay, here you are. Now I did the trimming using JKL and using the in point and the out point. Now notice what happened when you use the edit point. You select the edit point here. I'm gonna start with L and notice what's gonna happen mainly in the monitor. This is L. I can see the out point of the previous clip and the in point of the clip I'm editing, and I'm seeing exactly what is happening, how the trimming is happening. In fact, this is now a roll. Here you are. I will go backward. It's pretty interesting and very powerful if need be. So roll is happening dynamically. I can see it happening in the monitor. I will undo this too to give you more examples. Now I'm going to deselect and select the clip itself. Now, if you are in the slide mode or in the sleep mode here, it won't make a difference because you are in the selection mode. Now, immediately I start using the L. Notice you're doing now a slide, an automatic slide. Now, be very careful how you press on the L. If you press it more, you notice it's going to speed up. If you press too much, it's going to fly over. If you go to get a cup of coffee, you will find it after 4 hours, at the end of the timeline. So I'm going to undo this. And of course, you can use J. Now, notice about J, there is something unfortunate about the selection mode. Now, it is overwriting the clips to the left. Okay, I press it faster. Another one. And if I keep it sliding, that's no problem. I could see the clips again. They will reappear. But unfortunately, if you press K, you stop. Now you go backward another time to go speedy. Here you are, the clips have disappeared. So be careful how you are using the slide here. If you stop on the clips will be removed from the timeline. So I will undo all this. Of course, this seems a bit complicated, but actually all you did is to select an in point or an out point, or if you like the edit point, and you press JKL, and you could go slow motion by keeping K pressed and using the L or the J one by one to go a frame at a time. So it's practically very easy. Now I would like you to open Resolve 15. I hope you're following along with me. I hope you managed to trim left and right dynamically, but it's very important that you come and train on this system. I can assure you, you will love it and you will stick to it. Now we're going to do something more interesting in the next lecture, is using the trim edit mode with the dynamic trim mode, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm sure you guessed it, guys, that in this lecture we are going to use the trim mode and we're going to put on the dynamic trim mode. See exactly how it works. I will deselect from everything. I restore the clip here. I will go for the trim mode. Now I'm gonna press W, and you notice it jumped now to the first frame of the previous clip and selected the edit point. So let's select our in point here. That's what we want to edit. And I will start by GKL, as simple as this. If I press L, it will start trimming here, and there is the ripple effect, if you notice. And actually, everything works as normal. I can press K to stop it. I can press K, keep it pressed, and press L and go in slow motion, one by one, to see exactly where I want to go. Okay, let's say we want to stop just over here. So I will release L. Cool. Then I can select the out point and do exactly the same. I can use L. And I can use J. Okay, I can press K, keep it pressed, and go step by step, or slow motion if you like. Okay, I'm okay with that. So it's exactly the same with the ripple effect. I'm gonna undo all this. Now, if you select the edit point and you go L or J, it really doesn't matter. It's gonna go and do the roll as usual. Nothing is different here from the selection mode. I will undo all this. Now, if you select the whole clip, then the selection here of slip and slide is important. Remember that when you are in the trim mode, you can slip and you can slide. Okay, we remember that. Now, let's try it with the dynamic mode. Selected the clip. I'm going to press L and see exactly what's happening. Notice it is really sliding, but also it is editing the previous clip and is rippling it. If you had one on the right, it would have also rippled it towards the right. If you use slip, you know very well already that is gonna slip the clip, and you're cool. You will doing some very nice editing in slow motion. I'm gonna do it in slow motion. Okay, and let's stop it just over here. I hope you have all the courage now to come and mess up as much as you want with the dynamic trim mode, and really have fun, guys, before you start editing. Because when you get very serious in video editing, it's not fun anymore. It's really a serious job. It's not like, I don't know, After Effects or other programs where you can play around. This one, you need to play now, have your fun, and later on, we'll get very serious. Actually, you will have to do your assignment. In this lecture, guys, I want to show you how to do lift and extract on certain portions of a clip, or if you like to cut a clip, put it in pieces, and remove certain piece or certain portion. The first mode that you want to use is the blade mode over here. The shortcut is just B. Okay, so usually you press B. You can now hover over a clip and you can see the exact frame where you are going to cut. You can see a blade, so it's gonna cut, and you can see the frame in the monitor where it's gonna cut. So all you have to do now is to click, and here you are, you have cut. Now you can move on your clip, cut again, for example, just here. You press A to get to your selection mode, select the clip, and now you can do a backspace for the lift or shift backspace for an extract, for example. I will undo this. Now, the blade tool does not cut through tracks, okay? So notice when I point on the first track over here, you notice I can see title 1, and here I can see title 2 and title 3. So it's gonna cut exactly on the clip and on the frame that it is pointing to. So if I come over here, I click, and I click, and I click, I did all the cuts. Now, even if you select the clips and cut, it will cut only on the one where you are pointing, okay? So this is the blade tool, and it's very useful. Now, the way you will use it in video editing is just to come to a clip, cut, cut, cut again, cut again. So there are two portions that you want to remove, this one and this one. You can select both of them, in fact, using the control or the command and just doing an extract. Here you are. Well, it has its cons and pros. Somehow you can always use it to do this kind of lift and extract by cutting the clip. Now, if you use the blade tool and you want to cut only the audio, if you come over here or select only the audio if you like, you press Alt and select only the audio and then try to cut. Notice the red line is also on the video. You can do that. If you cut, it doesn't matter if you selected only the audio, it will still cut through the video. The way to overcome this is to remove your chain over here. The link selection, you remove it. Now you selected only the audio. You can cut only the audio and come and remove this piece. Okay, guys, so this is one way that I'm sure you're going to use. So remember to remove the link selection so you can cut only the audio and doing some lift and then putting some sound effects or stories like this. There are other ways to cut a clip. For example, if you go to the timeline here, you have the razor, the split clip, and the join clips. Okay, join clips will join them. But the razor and the split will work exactly the same. And they are based on the playhead. For example, you can put your playhead here, adjust it with the left and right arrow, which frame you want to cut, and you just press Ctrl B, it will cut it. Okay, another one here, you adjust it, Ctrl B, it will cut, and now with your selection mode, you can do a lift or an extract. If you're using now the split, it depends on which shortcut you want. So this is Ctrl \, it will cut, and it will cut, and then you can do the lift and extract for what you want to do. But then the split and the razor have something very special. If you come over here, for example, and notice you have stacked on several tracks and you press Ctrl B, you will cut through the tracks. The blade doesn't do this job. So now you can do a lift, for example. Here you are, you cut very nicely. I will undo. If you use the split, it will do exactly the same. It will cut through tracks. But then even if you have the playhead just over here and you want to cut, for example, this middle clip, all you have to do is to select it, press Ctrl B or Ctrl \, and it is cut only the selected clip. And that is, very practical. Now I'm going to take the blade tool and cut over here and then cut again. Then come back and do a lot of work here. Then I notice I don't want this cut anymore. I will zoom in just here. If you notice here, you have this dotted line, okay, dashes. This is a cut through. It means you can rejoin this cut. Even if you move the clip, then you put it back after 10 minutes or the second day, doesn't matter. Resolve will know that this is a cut through. For example, you can bring the playhead on top of it and press Alt and \. It will restore the cut. This is the command here is join clips. Now let's do a small experiment here. I will cut 1, 2, 3. Look where the playhead is. If I do Alt \, it has joined the one on the right. And let's put the playhead just over here. And now I press Alt and \, it gives me an error. It requires that the playhead is nearby or on the clip you are joining again. So Alt \, here you are, it joined. Let's try to do some lifts and extract using the in and out point and the blade tool and the extend, edit, and so on. We want to mix these techniques. Let's say, for example, here I will zoom in using Alt mouse scroll or Option mouse scroll on the Mac. And I wanted this light to appear. Then I want it to appear until here. Then I want to cut from this point to, for example, this point. Cool. How can I do that? Well, one way that I want to show you is using marking on the timeline. So I will set the in point. I just press I set the in point here. Then come over here and set, for example, the out point. So now I have a certain highlighted area. Notice whatever is going to be lifted or cut is the highlighted area. And you notice that the video is not highlighted. Notice the audio is highlighted, the video is not highlighted. That's because I have the wrong selection. So I'll put on the selection for the video. Now they are highlighted and I can do a lift, as you know, I will undo, or shift backspace, it will be an extract. So actually now I cut a piece of the clip using the in and out point as you have seen. So you can set your in point, set the out point, make sure you have the right selection, and you can use backspace or shift backspace for lift or extract. That's pretty cool. Now to remove the in and out point, you already know that. It's Alt X, or on the Mac is Option X. Now let's go to another clip. I want to show you something else here. Let's come over here. Also I will zoom in, but not much. Okay. And then I want to create a gap over here. I want to start from here. Okay, from the beginning till here. I'm cool with it. For example, then I want to cut from where the playhead is now until, for example, over here. You can use the in and out point. That's pretty cool. But let me show you a nice way. If you go for the blade and you cut exactly where you want, doesn't matter where the playhead is, for example, over here. Then if you click and drag where you want to finish the cut or where you want the in point to be, and then make sure you have the right selection. We don't want to cut this layer, and we don't want to cut the audio from video 1. And we have set that you are going to cut video 2. Then simply press Shift left bracket. Here you are, nice editing technique. So now I have the hole or the gap, if you like, and I'm cool. And all I used is the blade, and it's very easy. Okay, so let's do it the other way around. Let's come over here, and we use the blade. Then we come over here, and you say, okay, we want to create a gap here. For example, you have more B-roll that you want to put down, and then you press Shift right bracket. It's cut. Combination of blade and playhead to end and playhead to start will give you easy lift and extract for your clips. I can assure you guys, at this stage of the course, if you followed along, you already know all the editing techniques and tools in Resolve 15 to edit a short movie, a documentary, or even a music video. Your assignment in this section is for you to create your own short movie using all and any of the clips within the media pool. Feel free. Cut the way you like. Use your imagination and surely play and have fun. Then render the timeline and create an MP4 to upload to YouTube or Vimeo. Try to create impressive cuts. Couple of transitions only. A title and a lower third maybe, but be creative. If you achieve 1 minute of your own creative work, that will be excellent. I promise you, you will become an expert in Resolve 15 video editing. But be careful. You have to do some fine editing, not just rough cuts. You will find this video that we're watching now, not the project, in the resources of this lecture. You can download it and watch freely and try to see how I mixed the clips, just simple cuts. But you have to create a much better video than the one I did. Because honestly, I fixed some clips here and there, so we can use them later on to learn some new techniques, such as retiming clips or some effects. So please, dive in and start your assignment. I'll see you in the next lecture.